morning to all. First, I'd like to welcome to my efforts in last 30 years during research to till date, and we will virtually realize you to how you can ride the hydrogen bike. Obviously, I will ride, but you will virtually feel. So, why we are talking about the hydrogen? It's not a very new we can talk about now, but many years ago, can you change the slide? A man of hydrogen was in India, and he initiated this program in 1984. And they done a lot of efforts, and because of the COVID, no more he is now. But his effort already registered, and that's why because his work for the hydrogen, you can say like a person of an Iron Man for the hydrogen. And he is a full dedication, hard work, consistency, and passion for the hydrogen. That's why he also recognized in his life as the Padam Shri for the 2016 for the hydrogen. So I getting the fortunate, I'm the student of him, and I efforts with him for the hydrogen bike to development, and I am the first research scholar, I can say and announce here, to ride the hydrogen fueled motorcycle myself. So can you go to next slide? I also wrote a very strong article that can be, you can feel if you read it, last 30 years, what is the development of hydrogen in India, not only in terms of the production, not only in terms of the storage, production and application, all kind of the development is there in the article. Can you go too fast because time we have? So can you click the video? We can just to realize the hydrogen bike, how it's run. So can you just move little faster because we have. So this is the, we getting the project from the MNRE for the 50 hydrogen motorcycle, and then later on we developed even car and the four-wheelers. And basic problem, these kind of the internal combustion is the, how we can efficiently combustion the hydrogen. I am very surprised to people is talking about nowadays even more about the hydrogen production or green hydrogen. But parallelly you need to understand about the storage and application. If you will not make your mindset for the all three together, then you have the lot of hydrogen, plenty of hydrogen, even green hydrogen, but there is no use. Because you have to think about why last 30 years we are not going to clink. What are the problem and what are the places where we need to work? Like some programs should be in India, I thought to last 30 years, why not we can talk about the hydrogen injection, internal combustion, some electronic injection, and given the project in that direction, because they are the threshold. Why we are not converting into the light with this kind of the fuel for the proper combustion. Like even the case of the fuel cell, if you compared with the fuel cell of the or internal combustion, their efficiency is totally different in both cases. But if you are trying about the fuel cell and directly you jump in the fuel cell kind of the technology, then again our system will be like that. We are just to import earlier oil, but now we will import the membrane. This is the current scenario, no can deny it. So this is the situation. So we have need to parallelly work for the production, storage and application. If one part only carrying, then the two parts required in next 50 years or 100 years. So it is very important to that part. So can you go to next? So concept of the hydrogen is even very old. A engineer said about the water, and he said like, I believe that the water will be one day be employed as a fuel, what we are doing now, and the hydrogen and oxygen which constitute it used singly or together with the furnace and inexhaustible source of the heat and light. So what he is 1874 tell, we are now doing same. And why? Because if you see the energy density 3 times higher, so that's why he speculate or predicted. Can you go to next? So why we are talking about the solar induced hydrogen production? Because we are talking about the green hydrogen. So the aim is to no CO2 should be there, and we can say the cleaner way to produce, or we can say it's a renewable way to produce the hydrogen and utilize and again regenerate the water. So can you go to next slide? Because of less time, so I want to sensitize to our, at least the country people, because they understand why we need to this kind of the energy required. So if you see globally, so huge amount of energy is going to utilized by the different countries, including the India. So that's why our Honorable Prime Minister said one family, one program, or how we can save this kind of the environment. So the reason behind that, can you go to next? If you talk about the why need to all over the world to work, because if you see our history, how we can utilize the fuels, and convert it for the transport or any other applications. So we start from the fuel wood, and then slowly and slowly we are trying to reduce the carbon. If you reduce it, ultimately it will be, if you reduce the hydrocarbon to carbon, then ultimately we only hydrogen. So no other option than the hydrogen, but only we need to how efficiently we can utilize it as a fuel, and what are the resources that can be, if you utilize it either at internal combustion or the fuel cell, the byproduct should be not be any kind of the harm for the like the CO2 emission or other things. Can you go to next? So can you go to next, because these are information, so it may be they can already, can you go to? So if you see the current scenario in the worldwide, so everybody has their storage for the last coming many years, but if you see the Indian scenario, so we have required the work very, very fast for this direction, because energy is currency for the any country. If you have the more energy to store, then you have the more options for the your economy. So if you see other countries, why they are launching the program, but not worried. Why I am saying this statement? Because if you see the 2003, Bill Clinton initiated the program for the hydrogen, but then going to stop because of the DOE, all benchmark not going to achieved. So even they are not bothered, because they have the, if you see in the scenario of the US or Canada or other places, they have the efficient energy. So can you go to next? So the situation is like that. If you are not going to introduce, then earlier for the mask for the corona, but now the mask for the pollution. Particularly in Delhi, you already realize it, right? If you see the how much we are going to import, so if you almost 70% economy is going to invest for these kind of the import. Can you go to next? Can you go to next, because a little faster I will go. Can you go to next? Yeah, this slide is very important. Can you go to isse pehle previous? Combustion. Next. Iske next. Bas ruko. So if you compare petrol versus the other hydrocarbons, so you can think like that. If you are using the like CNG or like hydrogen concept like the hydrogen and the ethanol mixing, it will not solve the problem. If you see here the after the combustion, the byproduct will be like NOx or like CO2 or CO, and it's an efficient amount. And India, like country, the huge population, so we need to very clean solution is required. So can you go to next? So alternate option to next 5 years, we can go to like electric vehicles, and this duration we can make the more efficient this technology, and we can come with the very efficient way. So can you go to next? So basically, this program was launched in 2004, Akshay Urja program, when the Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister, and we decided in hydrogen board, production, storage, transport, and application. So these are the main pillars, how we can launch in India. In any pillars, if you are trying to touch it later on, then scenario will be very different. Like currently, I can see only we are talking about the green hydrogen, hydrogen production. We are not talking about other things. So it's very, very sensitive issue, and we are not waiting to generate the fuel cell by the basis of the other countries, the membrane or like the catalyst for the proton exchange, and not waiting for the internal combustion. They will develop some IC engine, and we will import. So better to we can indigenously develop now, and some programs would be very strong, because I already seen the Niti Aayog and the MNREs also supported this program, so they can sensitize by this way. Can you go to next? So these things are just to information, so can you go to next? Like already I told, like how the energy density is 3 times higher than the petrol or CNG, you can see, and why it's it's a clean fuel and no pollution. If you see the stacking properties, or it can be internally combustion. So more important part is when you are using the petrol, then the compression ratio of the fuel versus the oxygen is like 1:3. When you're talking about the CNG, then 1:8. When you're talking the hydrogen, then 1:33. So energy density is very high, but very difficult to make the blast impact. So that impact you need to some kind of the mechanical engineering that can be inject the multi-injection fold to hydrogen, and that can efficiently come if you trying to internal combustion. Similarly, for the fuel cell, you need to energy density to enhance. The other way, otherwise the third option to you can make the hydrogen battery. No other option. So hydrogen battery, like you use the electrode for the hydrogen as a cathode, and if you hydrogen store the metal hydride, then you can also make the anode. So you can make the like hydrogen electrode and try to use the hydrogen. So can you go to next? So can you go to, because production already people covered, so can you go to next? Yeah, like talk about the people like gray hydrogen, blue hydrogen, green hydrogen, black hydrogen, or pink hydrogen, or turquoise hydrogen, or yellow hydrogen. So for the students, it's a slide is very important because you can understand what basis we are saying like this kind of the different differentiation. Because why we are talking about the green? Because no CO2. Because what we are doing the taking the water and electrolyze it and convert it to, because it can be not a cleaner, but also like renewable sources. But the other way you can see the hydrocarbon is there, like the natural occurring, it's a white hydrogen even. Can you go to next? So there is a, based of the mechanism how you can produce, you can say the like different kind of the colors. Can you go to faster, because the storage I want to cover. So similarly, can you go to previous slide? Like the production, already our government is released a booklet for the how much cost of the hydrogen per liter. So people should understand for the electrolyzers, because conversion efficiency is very important. So $1 like 1 liter they projected in this document. So if you see the conversion efficiency, because why I'm saying even the people working for the like the production and the other areas, because I am also chairing the BIS document for the hydrogen for the electrolyzer, and I feel like that a lot of information is required to make the very strong document. Otherwise, our standard will be very weak. So that's why it's a. I'm very happy to one of my senior colleagues is here, and even later on I will discuss about that. So can you go to next? So can you go to next? So the previous speaker said no storage is the best option. He's correct, but the problem is to hydrogen is lightest gas. So you have to some mechanism or some logistics should be there how you can utilize it. So I can say like the petrol is easily stable, but if you see the hydrogen, at the NTP is the lightest gas and density is very low, and 7% density of air, like the lightest one. So hydrogen is also buoyancy effect. If you trying to compress it or make the liquid hydrogen, then it's like ortho-para conversion loss. So these are the, I mean, the challenges to, if you talk about the hydrogen. So can you go to next?
One more minute.
Another, okay, so 1 minute, then I will very fast to, there are several options, and we developed like more than 19 metal hydrides. So thermodynamics basis of the 2-wheelers or 3-wheelers or 4-wheelers, we developed the metal hydride that has the efficiency is little lower. Can you go to just click the slides? Because last slide I will show to the safety, because it's very important. So can you go to, because these things already I told about the worldwide how much program is going, and in India, can you previous slide, because some other, so in India many places research is going on the hydrogen. This is the map. So I have written a book, so very soon it will be going to how the strategy for the India, the hydrogen, so it will become soon. So can you do next? Can you go to next? So there is a options to volumetric and how the gravimetric efficiency can be improved for the storage. Can you go to next? Quickly, you can just to pass on, because now time is less, so we will go directly to. So yeah, because these mechanisms require time to explain, and why we are storing, because there is a, if you absorb the hydrogen metal hydride, it's a exothermic reaction, and you are going to dissolve, and it's a, or you can dehydrogenate the hydrogen, it's a, like the endothermic reaction. So can you go to next? Can you go to next? Because I will just to come directly in that slide. So there is many metal hydrides we developed. So ultimately, we found that how we can store the hydrogen in metal hydride, and how it can be, how it is a well measure the entropy with, or like the enthalpy with the exhaust engines. So according to that, we are going to, can you go to fast? Because it's a very huge last many years effort. So ultimately, with all kind of the materials we checked here for the hydrogen storage. So can you go to fast? Yeah, some of the patent also we have. So this is metal, sodium malonate are another option to store, and otherwise aluminum hydride another new. Let's just show this one last. It's important, so I will just do. Yeah. So earlier the problem in metal hydride when you store the hydrogen, it's like the pyrophoric in nature. So if you come out in air, it is going to catch fire. So we develop a technique. Can you just to click the video? So develop a technique. If you, if you coat it with the graphene with the ethyl cellulose interface, it can protect the oxygen from the air. So it cannot be burned out. So if you take out the outside, even the metal hydride with the hydrogen, it will be air stable. So this is the first time in the world we demonstrated like metal hydride can be coated with the graphene with the cellulose, it can be air stable. And the idea comes how plants protect their foods. So can you go to next my video? Yeah. So this is the first cycle. If you say the thoda aage badha ke, you can just to show catch firing in this case. But anyway, this video is available in our paper, so which what we published. Into next. Yeah, this is after several cycles, so there is no catch firing. Can you go to next? So already we have the MOU with the Hiroshima University for the hydrogen compressor. Recently we done with the in 2021, and project is going for the another kind of the metal hydride like FETI. Can you go to next? Can you go to next? So can you, yeah, there is a development. I can just to show you how we develop the metal hydride motorcycle, and ultimately we run the what we see using. Can you go to next? Can you go to next? So we also develop like the generator, genset, motorcycle, auto. Can you go to next? Even for the catalytic burning for the AC. So can you go to next? Even 50 kg of metal hydride can be made easily. We have the plant, the experience of that kind of the metal hydride. Can you go to next? So can you go to next? Can you go to next? So this is the logic how we are storing the hydrogen. How much the penalty weight for the metal hydride if efficiency is poor? So can you go to next? Can you go to next? Yeah, can you play this video?
Hydrogen is lighter than air. It's even lighter than natural gas. Being lighter gives it a safety advantage over other fuels. When gasoline spills, like this water, it puddles and then slowly evaporates into the air. These animations compare a gasoline car and a hydrogen car, both leaking fuel from punctured fuel lines in properly ventilated garages over a 30-minute period. The gasoline vapors are heavier than air and tend to linger in the area of the leak. The presence of a very small amount of these vapors in the air can be ignited. Because hydrogen is lighter than air, a similar leak forms a much smaller flammable cloud. The ignition source would have to be within a foot or two of the leak to cause a fire. Hydrogen-fueled vehicles have multiple safety systems that detect and prevent the accidental release of hydrogen. There are sensors that detect leaks, a computer that monitors fuel flow, and an excess flow shutoff valve. Hydrogen tanks also have a pressure relief device, much like those on natural gas water heaters in our homes. If a leak is detected, the flow of fuel is shut off, so the amount that leaks would be small and most likely vent harmlessly into the air. With all these safety systems in place, it's extremely unlikely that these vehicles would leak much fuel, and even less likely that a leak would result in fire. The controlled simulation you are about to see shows the result of the failure of one system, the pressure relief device. Though experience with natural gas has shown that a failure of the pressure relief device is extremely rare, the results of such a failure would appear like this. In this demonstration, fuel was purposely leaked and ignited by an electric spark, in both a car fueled with hydrogen and a car fueled with gasoline. The hydrogen tank empties in less than 2 minutes, and the flame goes out with virtually no damage.
I'm trying to summarize the start from the concept, production, storage, and the application and the safety.
We have to close.
Yeah, that's why now I'm close here. But I'd like to, one statement to give in the last, a person, the man of the hydrogen like O.N. Srivastava sir and the MBC Shastri, we have to recognize in this kind of the platform, and we should start some initiative in name of him. It's very, very important because last 40 years, a person contribute like start from the sugarcane machines and they came up with the four-wheelers. So that should be acknowledged in this platform. It's very important. So in India, particularly government, I want to this message to convey in his name. At least some hydrogen city will be there or something like that. Thank you very much.